So I'm Francois de Bodinat. I'm the Chief Marketing Officer of ZeroLight. Who are we at ZeroLight? We are a software company. We use 3D visualization software to change the way you experience and buy product. So today, what I want to do is to address a bit of how we do that using VR. But you have to know that VR is one part of what we do. We do cloud, we do 4K screens, we do an omnichannel platform. I'll come back to this. So the way I want to approach it today is by trying to ask one question and try to walk through the answer with you. The one question I want to ask for the automotive buying journey is, where does VR sit in this buying journey? Why should we use VR? At which stage should we use VR? And how should we use it? So to do that, the first thing we have to do, there is a red line here, is to define what the customer journey is. So that's the customer journey. I'm not going to go through, we have many touch points and they go here first and thereafter, because we just don't know. Every company is different, every customer journey is different. The one common point for every brand is that at some point you have a sale. Otherwise it's charity, but at some point you should have a sale going on, and then you have a before, you have an after, and you have a during sale. So what I want to do today is to use 3 concrete examples of what we do at ZeroLight. It's not R&D projects. Those are commercial solutions live to walk you through a before, a during sale, and an after sale VR experience. So I'll move to the first one, which is with Audi. And we go back a bit in time at the beginning of this year, where we announced the first automotive VR experience with Audi. So first, if we go back a bit further up, one of the challenges that Audi and other OEMs face is that people don't really go to dealership anymore. Used to be 5 visits when you buy a car. Now it's down to 1.3, 1.5 visits on average. It's one challenge. One of the reasons is that the experience they get in dealership is not to the point of making the people going there anymore, because you have to go outside the city. You used to go to dealership to see the car that you were going to buy, and with personalization, with the customization of car, there is no way you can see the car you're going to buy if you don't have a digital model of the car. The last reason is also because the way the automotive industry works, it's a very sales-oriented process where nowadays customers want more experience and be in control of their product experience. So they want to interact with product experts versus sales guy. And there is this fear of going to the dealership, of am I going to be welcomed the right way and things like this. So this is changing. And one of the ways to embrace all that for a company like Audi and many others is to digitize the entire catalog of their portfolio. All cars, all options, in every dealership, online, everywhere. So this is the first step. So then you can add VR to this and create an experience and give a reason to the consumer to come to your dealership or your showroom and interact with the car in VR and customize the car. This is at the time of sale. They are coming to the showroom, they are trying the car, and they are deciding based on VR how they're going to buy the car. And this looks like this. So this is in Munich airport. So what you see here, you see let's say a product expert, okay, person who is just at the service of the customer, saying you can have different colors, you can change your wheel, you can change your grade. And Audi does that for the entire catalog from the A2 to the R8. Other things that happens is that the product has to be real, but you can do things that you couldn't do in real life. So for instance, when you put your head down, you have what we call this X-ray effect that allows the customer to see what the car is made of, okay? Another example here, that was at GTC earlier this year, presenting the solution with Audi. So people, just trying and just like the experience. So digitizing your dealership is not just for fun, it's just it works. So we saw Jaguar is doing that also with Rocar now. Audi pioneered that with Audi Cities. And you see the result when you have a digitized dealership, you have more options, you have more people coming, you can be in a higher footfall space. And therefore you have more revenue compared to the base revenue of the car. So this is the first point. The second point I want to address is with Pagani. And that's a very particular case study because this happens after sales. So not all of us today can really, actually none of us I would expect. Who has a Pagani in the room? I would be surprised if somebody has a Pagani in the room. Nobody. They produce 40, 50 a year and it's a $2 million car. So we know why. But what happens with Pagani is quite interesting. If we go back, VR is a new dimension. So you had the PC, then you had the web that changed the way people will interact with their products, bring the catalog to their home. Then you had the mobile, bring the catalog of cars and products to your pocket. And the VR is kind of disturbing everything. How do we use that and where do we use that? When do we use it? In a commercial world, like we do at ZeroLight, we are doing applications that are meant to sell cars in the experience. So it's very important that we keep that in mind when we create a VR experience. It has to be for the purpose of helping the customer choosing option and making decision. So the quality, when you're talking about a Pagani, which is probably the most configurable car in the world, you can really almost go all the way to the nuts and bolts of the car and put your name to it. You have to have a very high quality, high engaging, high experience. And the way Pagani is using it is, this is an example of movies we can do in real time with virtual reality and digitized content. But the way Pagani is using it is they invite their VIP customer after they buy the car, or to convince them to buy the car. But with Pagani, sometimes configuring the car is part of buying the car. It's part of the experience. Once you buy the car, you put a 10% deposit, okay? Then you start configuring the car. And what you do, for instance, so this is in Geneva Motor Show, you see potential customers looking at a digitized screen. I can't show the VR itself because this was done this year on the Roadster, Hyura Roadster, which I am not allowed to show to you. But what happened is people came and the Roadster doesn't exist yet, and they will see the Roadster for the first time in VR. And they bought that Roadster, they will choose the color and go through the configuration in the virtual world. This is a new factory that they launched this summer. This is what people see when they buy the car. They do it in this factory with obviously not the Hyura, but the Hyura Roadster, which is a convertible version of it. Okay? And they can do it with this car as well. So Mr. Pagani is saying that we are, with VR, we can allow, basically, I'll let you read that, but the retail experience, a journey that engages the customer in the design process and visualize the highest quality possible. And coming from Mr. Pagani and Pagani cars, it's a great testimony to the quality of what we can do in VR. This car is 5 million polygons in real time at 90 frames per second. So it's really high quality, and the painting, the material are extremely realistic. Okay? So this was the second point, which was about experience, okay? Digitization and experience are two key points. The last one I want to address today is Toyota, which is a very interesting, it's our latest commercial case study. And it's something that you can see at the entrance, you can test live. So I'm happy to say that you can actually go there and have a shot. So please do it. Toyota is using VR in a pre-launch scenario. So what you see today is a shift from what we call a dealership-centric approach, where the goal of the OEM were to bring the customer to the dealership at all cost. Because they say, once you'll see the car, you'll be convinced and then you'll buy it. But now you see that OEMs are starting to sell cars even before people saw the car. So the impact of the VR early stage, before the car is launched, is quite big. So we are moving from a dealership-centric approach to what we call a customer-centric approach. What it means is that the brand has to follow the customer and not the other way around. So you have to have an experience that is working on the web, on the mobile, on the tablet, in a dealership or in a digital showroom, anywhere with the same level of quality. And what's interesting about the Toyota scenario is that when they go to a Budapest shopping mall and show the VR experience, they give you a cardboard after, and you can download an app that contains exactly the configuration that you pick. So as a consumer, I can take that experience home with me, and I create this sustainable experience, what we call omnichannel sustainable experience. So I follow the customer as a brand, and I make sure he keeps seeing my brand and my experience all the time, on every touch point. So that's the experience with Toyota, and it looks like this. So that's what you can see here at the beginning of the entrance. You'll see a real Toyota CHR seat. You sit on it in the physical world, and then you look around and you can change configuration, change colors, and see how the car is behaving in real time. This is the same level of quality as what we offer to Pagani. It's the same solution in terms of technology in the back. It's a 5 million polygon car, and this is a real product. So Toyota has been very helpful in allowing us to borrow their booth that is they're using right now in a tour in Europe for this week, for this event. So you can have a chance to try it. And this is an example of what happens after. So we don't have the Google Cardboard car today, but you could download the app and pursue the experience afterwards. What that brings is interesting. When we talk to Toyota people, they're telling us that the VR experience, as part of the whole experience, contributes to a 5% conversion lead goal they have for their pre-campaign. We can't measure yet exactly the role of VR, but what we can say is VR is part of a whole, it's part of a customer journey that is key for Toyota in the pre-launch of this car. You have other comments saying that, on this solution, very realistic configurator, the best configurator, people will buy cars this way. This is already happening today. So on top of the experience, what I like to call all that sustainability. And this is coming from Toyota feedback. That's what they want. They want sustainability. They want to be able to create an experience with VR that you can take home with you. Mobile VR is coming next, and it's going to be also as big, even bigger than VR. So with all this, I bring you back to the question that I was asking you at the beginning. Where do we think the VR solutions sit in the customer journey? So we've seen 3 examples with Audi, Pagani, and Toyota before, during, and after sale. So the answer is they can sit anywhere you want. But your job as an OEM or as an agency working with OEM, as a content creator, is to make sure that you link your VR experience to a global customer journey. If you create a silo experience in 2017, you'll be too late. You have to have an experience that is linked to something else. Okay? That was working this year, but next year about content, it's about linking all that together. So without further ado, if you have any question, again, Francois Bodinat, CMO of ZeroLight, and we are at the booth here, number E9. Welcome to join and test. Thank you.